director-actress relationship was incredibly easy, and we stepped into it like stepping into a warm bath, and there were no problems at all. I loved being directed by Damian. I felt in safe hands, and I loved it.
Hello, everyone. Talal Azim here from Popcorn and Soda, and I have the privilege today to discuss the release of the film Strictly Confidential. We're fortunate enough to be joined by the writer and director Damian Hurley and the star of the film, Elizabeth Hurley. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys today. How are you both doing?
I'm great, thanks.
Good, thanks for having us.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. Damian, Elizabeth, I'm going to congratulate you both on the release of the film. I had the opportunity to watch it, and it's such a throwback to the thriller genre, which focuses on internal themes like human psychology, human nature, betrayals. Damian, this is your directorial debut. I give you so much credit for the big undertaking you took by writing and directing this film. So, was that always your plan? Or was there a moment as you were writing the script that you knew you also had to direct this?
I was fortunate enough so I made a short film right as we were coming out of lockdown after COVID, which an executive at Lionsgate saw, and I got a call out of the blue saying that they loved the short and wondered if I had any scripts because they were interested, if they wanted to know if I was interested in writing and directing a feature. So obviously I said absolutely, and then the frantic panic went to try and find every script I'd ever written to see which would be the best one to take to them. But no, so I wrote this knowing I was going to direct it right from the start, which is a sort of a terrifying thing. I think, when you're a writer and you're writing things that you're not necessarily involved in the production of, it's a very different feeling when you're writing things that you're going to have to translate into shooting days, into covering, it makes you a little more realistic, and so that really helped when I was writing it, especially as, with any independent film, every moment matters, every second counts, and you don't have very long to shoot. We only had 18 shooting days for the whole film. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Hey, more credit to you in that. Filming a movie like this in that short amount of time is just an incredible feat as it is. And this movie is such a family affair in which the lead of the film also happens to be your mother, Elizabeth Hurley, who is such a star worldwide. And Damian, when you were writing this script and crafting the character of Lily, did you find that you were almost subconsciously writing it with your mother in mind, play this character? Or did you completely separate that?
Yeah, no, because funny enough, when I first wrote her part, it was a man's part. And then, so originally the husband and wife in the film, that dynamic was the wife had died before the film, and she just came in beautiful flashbacks, for a couple of days' work. And that was the part that I originally asked my mother to play. And then her part of her husband was a very important supporting adult role throughout the film. And then when I flipped the genders, it still took me a couple of weeks of writing to go, oh, actually, Mum would be great for this part now that it's a woman. So no, not at all. And I think in a funny sort of way, parts can be quite limited when you write them with someone in mind, because you can sort of go through what their comfort zone is or how you associate them with. Whereas when you bring someone a part that they haven't necessarily played before, it's quite interesting, and I think that's what we have here.
Absolutely. And Elizabeth, you brought the character of Lily to life. It's such a great performance, and it's such a multi-layered character with so many different shades. So for you, what was it about this character that you really wanted to capture and bring to life?
I think I really wanted to show a decent woman who has had tragedy in her life and who's flawed. So it's always quite a delicate balance to play that, because you can't be too heavy-handed in either direction, and you just have, I found I wanted to navigate a way to show a woman that was, her behavior had caused a whole sort of chain reaction of bad things, but she's not a bad person. And I wanted to show that without, I wanted her character. It was in the writing, I didn't have to put this in. She knew she hadn't behaved well, but she also knew she hadn't intended to hurt people, but nevertheless, our actions caused terrible damage sometimes. And I really like these themes running through the film of loyalty and betrayal, and how we can, as humans, self-justify what we do by saying, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. But at some stage, you have to stand up and say, but I did. And sometimes, which my character actually says at the end, maybe I deserve to be punished for this. And I think I really like that, because so often in real life, we all can justify everything we do, but we're still doing wrong, and sometimes perhaps we shouldn't. And maybe we'd be better people, and the world would be a happier place if actually we did resist more temptation. And so I like playing that part for that. And I liked her humility at the end, which you realised actually we are completely accountable for what we do.
Now, Elizabeth, for you personally, how is it working with Damian Hurley, the director? Was it easier or more challenging creating that mental separation from son and director on this project?
Well, the director-actress relationship was incredibly easy, and we stepped into it like stepping into a warm bath, and there were no problems at all. I loved being directed by Damian. I felt his safe hands, and I loved it. With me being his producing partner and producing for him, there were no problems. It was absolutely great. He knew I had his back, and he knew I wanted to lighten his load on the beast side of movie making so that he could stay creative as much as he could without having to be involved with the fact the costumes hadn't turned up, somebody was sick, somebody missed their flight, all that stuff which can distract someone, especially when they're young and inexperienced, from what they had to do. So that was my role in that. We didn't have any problems. Problems when I wanted to be mummy and tell him to drink more water and all that stuff. There were plenty of problems with that, and he kept telling me off. So I had to learn to step back and not be a bossy mummy. Once I learned that lesson, everything was smooth, right?
Oh, that's awesome. And lastly, we're in this era where so many beloved franchises are being revived, and there's so much online chatter from audiences. And hey, myself included, that one Austin Powers 4 and your character, Vanessa Kensington, coming back. Elizabeth, would that be a character that you would like to revisit and get Mike Myers and the gang back together again?
You know, I love playing Vanessa Kensington. I love Mike Myers. I think he's brilliant. One of my favorite comedians in the world. I have no idea if they'd revive it. If they'd revive it, I'd love them for it, but who knows? I wasn't a creator on that. I was just an actor, so we have to see.
Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens here. And guys, once again, Damian and Elizabeth, I want to congratulate you on the release of Strictly Confidential. I had a great time with this film, and I believe audiences will as well. I wish you both all the best, and I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.